as you're trying to co-parent or parallel parent with someone that is a toxic person, there's certain aspects that you want to make sure that you, as the healthier parent, are teaching your kids and showing your children and learning with them on some of these, so that you can all grow together as a healthier unit, and you're also giving them the insights and knowledge that they're going to need when they get older and they're out on their own, so they can function outside of, being in a toxic environment and have better chances of not repeating the same cycle. The whole, point of healing ourselves and all that fun stuff is to break the cycles and to not have this keep being generation upon generation expectations. So the more you can provide your children with nuggets of wisdom and insights and the knowledge of how healthy relationships and family dynamics can happen, the better off they're going to be at continuing to break the cycle and heal themselves, for themselves and for their own children. So the first thing you want to make sure that you give your children the knowledge of is feelings. You may not yourself have a full understanding of feelings and emotions, but you can learn with them. You can, as you heal yourself, you're going to gain more knowledge on what feelings and emotions are what, and kind of ways to navigate them and move past them and move through them when they come up. And you want to be able to use that information and that knowledge and pass that on to your children. Teach them and show them what feelings and emotions are and how to navigate them and work through them when they come up. So that way they can start to understand and put words to things that are going on inside of their own body. And when someone has the ability to start putting names to things and words to things, they're better able to start to understand them and express them to others versus just saying I'm fine and keeping it all bottled up inside, when maybe you can see as a parent that they're not fine and that they do have some emotions sitting under the surface or some doubts sitting under the surface. But until they're ready to acknowledge them, there's not a whole lot that you can do other than just support them. So the first two things would be emotions and feelings, and start to really put names and ways to manage those together. Someone may not know that what they're feeling in their stomach is anxiety or stress or fear or excitement. They may not know what words go with what feelings. So the more you're able to help describe that for them, the better off they're going to be. The third thing would be to teach them and show them how communication works. Most likely it's a very one-sided communication when they are in the presence of the toxic person. So they're not used to having normal, healthy conversations. So you want to show them how a back and forth conversation can happen and how difference of opinions are okay, and how it's okay if feelings and emotions come up during these conversations, that you can hold space for that person that's feeling the emotions without feeling guilty or shame for you setting your own boundaries. And you can also show them how a conversation doesn't have to end in being disregarded or ridiculed or made to feel shame or guilt or being hit or given the silent treatment. Any and all of the above can occur. So the more you're able to provide them with that positive communication skills, again, the better off they're going to be as they get older and are out in the world and trying to have, these normal conversations that are foreign to them because that's not what they're used to experiencing. The fourth thing that I would make sure that your children have the knowledge of is having a voice and knowing that they are here on this earth to be heard and to be seen, and they're no less than anybody else, and that it's okay for them to have an opinion and set boundaries for themselves, and it doesn't have to be something that they're afraid of and something that they fear. Again, they most likely in the presence of the toxic parent aren't allowed to have a voice. They're not allowed to have an opinion. Boundaries are probably non-existent. And if they do have boundaries, they're not necessarily boundaries from a place of being healthy. They're not healthy boundaries. So you want to make sure that your children are aware of these, and not just aware of them, but how to put boundaries in place and speak their voice with confidence and pride in what they have to say and their opinion and views on things, and to know that it's being met with non-judgment and support, and just showing them and teaching them that you can put these things in place and you can have a voice, and it doesn't have to end with negativity, because that's really what they need to know and see and feel supported in, is that they can be who they are meant to be, and that's why they're here. They're not here to be the toxic parent slave or mini-me or anything along those lines. They're meant to be their own person, and the more you can support that for them, the better they're going to grow into that healthy child that we all set out to have when we decide to have kids. So the fifth thing that I would say we need to make sure our children are familiar with is to feel loved and supported. So we want to make sure that they understand emotions and feelings, that they know how to communicate, and that they know how to have their voice and put boundaries in place. But we also want to make sure that they know how and what love, unconditional love, really feels like. They're used to probably having to people please to feel loved from the toxic parent. They're probably used to having to just go along with whatever the toxic parent wants or says to feel like they get any kind of love or attention back. The minute they decide to have their own opinion or voice, they're going to get shunned. They're going to get put down. they're going to be made to feel less than. And that's not unconditional love. That's not love at all. So teaching them to what love feels like and how to love themselves and how to give that love to others is all aspects of love that a child should experience and have knowledge of and know how to give and receive. So you may not personally be in a place to guide them properly or from a place of being completely healthy if you are still recovering yourself from being in this toxic relationship, but you can grow with them. You can learn together, you can experience things together and build all of these aspects together as well as individually, and it's only going to help grow and expand that connection and positive environment that their bodies are searching for. Their mental bodies, their spiritual bodies, emotional bodies, energetic bodies, they're all looking for a positive balance. And right now, most of their systems probably only know the negative and how to survive versus really live and thrive in an environment that is supportive and loving for them. So definitely research these. There's plenty of stuff online that you can use to help not only yourself but to help your children grow and gain knowledge in all these areas.